But the show An Evening with Groucho, which was recently filmed and will be rolling out next year on public television, thankfully. Uh, but I digress. The An Evening with Groucho
It's a
is,
good digression, though. Hey, that's a
yes,
good digression.
that's right. Um, it's really it's the convention is, Bruce. What would it have been like if you were sitting with Groucho Marx for 90 minutes in 1936 in his living room or in his theater? That never happened because he always worked with his brothers. So I'm there. I have, in basically what looks like a study, and I'm telling stories, singing songs, kibitzing with my piano player, working the crowd. And so it's an original experience in that way. It never happened before, though the material is Groucho's and mine. But what some of the stories would be, trying to think of some. Well, I sing the great songs like Lydia the Tattooed Lady, which was written by Arlen and Harburg, who wrote the entire score of Wizard of Oz the same year in 1939.
Wow.
But so there's some gems like that that have a lot of innuendo. Lydia, oh Lydia, say, have you met Lydia? Lydia the Tattooed Lady. She has eyes that pokes the torso, and the torso even more so. I mean, come on. There's Animal Crackers, Captain Spaulding routine. My name is Spaulding, Captain. I go into the audience. My name is Spaulding, Captain Jeffrey T. Spaulding. I bet you can't guess what the T stands for. And they'll say something like Thomas. Thomas? No, it's Edgar, but you were close. And they say we tried, So as I said, we tried to remove the tusks from the elephants, but they were so finely embedded that we couldn't budge them. Of course, in Alabama, the Tuscaloosa. But that's entirely irrelevant to what I was talking about. Just boom, 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 boom. Then I throw in a joke like, "Have you heard that one?" All those sabers, all in Carson. And so everything old is new again. There's a great when I was developing the show with Arthur Marx, we were in Kansas City Dinner Theater right after graduation. So I couldn't believe I was being paid for this job. I would have paid them to do this, right? But I wasn't going to tell them that. So I was getting paid to play this My Hero. I'm 22. It's Kansas City Dinner Theater. The guys that owned that theater ended up producing it off Broadway and then in London. But we're trying to find transitions because I start out as a 15-year-old Groucho, high-pitched voice. Hey, Pop, what are you picking on me? Kind of nasally, kind of New Yorkese, and then as it gets older, it's one morning I shot an elephant. I that sound how I got in my pajamas. And then as he does You Bet Your Life, I got to age him more. So physically I change, vocally I change, and it gets lower and more anchored. Welcome, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Save the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. George, bring on the next, more subdued, more affable, warmer for that era. And then old Groucho. First, I would like to take a bow for Harper and Chico. Very soft. There's no such thing as an old joke if you've never heard it before. And I thought, wow. So I become the older Groucho on stage. It's just a little application of white, put the beret on, thick glasses. And that's how that came about. And the speech actually refers to me, the fan, that I say as old Groucho. It astounds me that kids that weren't even gleams in their grandparents' eyes, they're laughing at things we did over 50 years ago. Just goes to show you, there's no such thing as an old joke if you've never heard it before. So this kind of cosmic thing, I got to be, my generation is referenced within the show in which I'm playing My Hero. It's a beautiful show. The show did really well in New York and London. But there's plenty of, like I said, improv in the show I currently do. And that stuff changes from, you play with bald people, you play with kids, you play with, old, in the film version, there's an old couple there. The great thing is you can look in the audience and there's people of all backgrounds, which makes me happy. Mostly theater goers of, 45 and up who go to these shows, who have some so-called disposable income. I have to share one story. I was in Easton, Pennsylvania, doing my show there, and I think was it the State Theater, a big theater there. There were like 1,200, which is good size for a one-man show. There's 1,200 people there, and I was so happy to see in January, first week of January, which is not an easy time. So you know what I'm talking about. in cold. It's Pennsylvania. Anyway, there's 1,200 people, and there's this huge line afterward. And I can't believe I'm a guy that just did a performance about a comedian who's been dead for 35 years, and there's this kind of affinity for him, love. It's like and it feels like a rock concert in terms of the laughter that comes in like really hard, and it's so exciting that I can conjure that through this persona. So a guy my age at the time, was probably 10 years ago, comes up to me and goes, you're him. So what do you mean? I said, you're the guy. I said, yeah, what do you mean? So you're the guy. I said, growing up, we all wanted to be Groucho. You got to be Groucho.